Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Jerry Porter.
And I'm Jamie.
Hey, Jamie. Welcome.
Thank you.
Jamie is joining us. She is, who are you, Jamie?
I'm a professional archaeologist. I have a PhD in archaeology and have somehow managed to be employed in this career, which is pretty difficult to be employed in.
That is impressive.
Yeah. That's probably the most impressive part.
You gotta sell more idols.
Yeah.
That's true. I feel like fortune and glory was a lie.
I hear you, sister.
All right. Well, we are here with Jamie and all of us to talk about minute 66 of Raiders. And 66 begins with Belloc downing his drink, and it ends with Indy examining the stone container of the Ark.
Well, at the very beginning of this minute, as you said, Tommy, we see Belloc first contemplating and then recklessly engaging in a drinking game with Marion.
Yeah.
What appears to be a drinking game with Marion. And, Belloc is so clearly over his head.
Yeah.
It's and what's interesting is this is so un-Belloc-like to see him sort of in over his head. You know what I mean? Which illustrates, as we were saying in previous minutes, his vulnerability and weaknesses, which is the ladies. See him, he can't touch bottom here. He's trying to touch bottom, but his feet can't.
Are we sure he's in over his head? Are we sure that he's not playing a game here like Marion is?
What I find very weird is that he has that dress. One of the weirdest points of the movie is that Belloc just has a woman's dress that fits Marion in his tent.
Yeah, you wonder when exactly he got that. I think we figured out maybe last week that I was assuming that he just traveled the world with it and just always had it with him, but he makes it sound last week like he somehow ordered it or procured it while he was there. But is it like, oh, Indy's with a girl, that Dr. Jones is with some lady, and she's Abner Ravenwood's daughter, and I better get into that. I'm going to buy me a dress, because that's what I do.
Well, I'm still operating under the assumption Kevin Marr mentioned a couple weeks ago on the show that he thought the dress was for Tote. And that's still my assumption.
Seems a little small, but...
It might be
maybe
a little
it was
frilly
like
for Tote.
a crime of opportunity that Belloc, he was like, oh, there's a lady. I'm just going to sneak into Tote's tote bag.
What's this? A dress. But yeah, with the drinking, now that I'm thinking about it, it is a little weird that he feels the need to try to match Marion with her downing of her drink. And by the way, we talked about it a little before, but I still don't know. Is this white wine or is this vodka or something? What is this?
I think it's like a grappa or something. It's like a...
That's what I thought too. Because he says, I think in the next minute, that it's his family's special recipe or whatever.
But is grappa French?
I think it's
No,
Italian,
it's Italian.
It's probably... They might grow some of it in France.
It's a byproduct of the winemaking process.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know what the French one would be called, but I assume that they have a similar thing.
I think what we can all agree on is that whatever it is, it's a high alcohol content.
Yeah.
Because they've only had not one full bottle, and they're both completely hamstered.
Yeah.
Or at least.
Well, grappa is really intense. So.
Is it?
Yes.
Marion, not so much. She's maybe playing the game, but Belloc appears to be a couple sheets to the wind there.
Yeah.
Well, but you asked whether or not Belloc's He's not in control. I mean, we established that in the previous minutes, and also he kind of, well, he coughs it out and everything. You know, he swigs it back and then he coughs it out, and then Marion immediately pours him another glass. I mean, she's controlling the pace of the drinking and the scene in general.
Yeah. It's just interesting that he, as like, I mean, he's got the air of like a successful ladies' man. You know, you'd think that just because she's slugging hers back like that, he could be like, oh, I'm still going to sip mine and just be debonair and smooth about it. Cary Grant mode. But then he tries to keep up with Marion, and that's his downfall. Unless he's faking the entire time, and we don't know.
I honestly, having watched all these minutes, I don't know if he's faking it. I don't know if she's faking either.
It's confusing. It's actually really confusing.
Yeah, I kind of thought they were both faking it.
I don't think either one is. I mean, Belloc's not faking it. He's in over his head, and he's getting sauced. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't prepared for the evening. He's like, you know, he even says, you know, even in these parts of the world, you know, we are not completely uncivilized. So he's looking for like a candlelight, slow, Barry Manilow type thing.
Yeah.
And she's
yeah,
and she just starts downing it.
Yeah.
And he's probably a little threatened.
He just wants to be held. And then she's like getting all aggressive with her grappa. Poor Belloc.
So I say Belloc's faking it, and my main evidence for that is that his cravat looks exactly like a king cobra.
Interesting.
Not all cravats and pocket squares can look like king cobras.
It's intentional.
Wow, you think so? Interesting.
Because of Indy, because he knows Indy hates snakes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
But he doesn't know that Marion loves them.
Right.
He's backfiring on him. Well, I'm going to say, okay, since we're taking sides, I'm going to say Marion is clearly faking because we know that's her thing. That is her superpower. And Belloc is faking. I'm going to say Belloc's faking too. And this is going to continue for the next few minutes, but we may as well plant our
It's
flags
as
now.
if you guys know nothing about Belloc. I mean, he's, you know, I mean, women are his Achilles heel.
Yeah, but he's, you know.
Why would he be
snaky,
faking it?
slimy Belloc.
But why would he be faking it?
I just thought that
Advantage of poor Marion.
Marion, like he knew what's going on.
Right. He's good. He knows what he's up against. And what he wants to be up against. Sorry. I don't know. Yeah. He's Belloc.
You guys are out of your mind.
Nah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll get there.
All right. So then, are we done with this moment in the tent?
I think so.
Because we got a Well of Souls coming up. We've got Indy and Sala. Sala's finally joined Indy down there. And we just cut right to them approaching this big stone, I don't know, what do you call it? It's not like a...
sarcophagus.
Is it a sarcophagus if it's not a person in there? I wanted to say sarcophagus. Let's say sarcophagus.
I can say that.
I don't know.
Do we have an archaeologist on the phone?
I mean, I would just say like a stone chamber.
That works. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the resting place.
Yeah.
Actually, it's an altar.
Kinda.
If you look at it, there's an altar over it.
Well, yeah.
It's a kind of a pavilion like Osiris would sit under in the Book of the Dead paintings. Like it's got the carved pillars and the snakes coiled around them. So it's like the Ark is representing the god of the underworld.
Oh, interesting. One thing I do have to say before we actually get into that is that the Well of Souls and this shot, it does really seem like it's just a big, huge, square, tall room. Whereas the past 40 years, or I guess 35 almost exactly years that I've been watching this movie, I always had the sense that it's a little more catacomby, like different chambers coming off it and stuff. But it really here just looks like a big square room, which is fine.
Yeah, in that regard, it's kind of weird for Egyptian archaeology, but
Oh yeah? How so?
well, I was looking up like King Tut's tomb and stuff like that, and they are very low ceilinged.
That's
Underground
interesting.
chambers that are so big are kind of rare.
Yeah, a lot of the things in Tanis seem like they were designed to be buried in the sand for 1,000 years and be found later by people who are up at the top of the big sand pile and then can be
Right.
lowered dramatically down into them.
Right.
Like I don't think there's a door to the Well of Souls.
No,
So-
definitely not.
So Shishak kind of took into account already that God was going to screw him. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I'm dead. I'm just going to go ahead and build this in.
Shishak was 3 or 4 moves ahead of God on this one. That was pretty good.
Well, check this out, because I was looking. Someone mentioned the pillars, and the pillars over the Ark of the Covenant have snakes, right? Or
Yeah.
serpents around them. But
Yeah.
I was wondering, did he plan on having snakes be a motif in the Well of the Souls, or did the snakes, like he had some ornamental snakes, and then it was just good luck that a bunch of snakes happened to come in and be there anyway.
And like feed off each other. I'm not really sure where they're getting food from or water
I
or anything.
I know.
Yeah.
But then we also have like the whole Egyptian mythology where Ra, the disc-shaped falcon, we keep coming back to this, every day would rise through the sky, and then every night he would have to fight his way through the underworld, and every night he would have to defeat the serpent, Apep. And so it's like Ra is now in the underworld fighting his way through the serpent. And I always thought this was symbolic of that.
Ah.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Though there's also like the cobra headdress, which
Yeah.
you see on pharaohs, and that's because it's protective. So,
Right.
but I like your idea about the connection to the afterlife, or to the not the afterlife, to the evening. That's cool.
That is cool. Poor Indy.
Well,
Too bad this cool symbolism doesn't work for him.
and now we have the archaeologist here. I mean, if you were to approach the Ark of the Covenant and you finally find it, after traveling, halfway around the world, would you throw a lit torch next to it?
I think as an archaeologist, like I understand time is of the essence, but the thing that surprises me most is that he's not photographing anything.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
they
think he
have
has a
that
camera.
technology, but he documents nothing.
Yeah.
And he seems completely uninterested in anything of any archaeological significance in this room.
I know.
Can we
Those
give him
statues are so cool.
Can we give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt in that we know that it's a little bit of a race against time, and like Belloc could be coming up the hill at any second, and maybe he's heartsick about this. Like, I just want to take pictures, I want to take sketches, I want to take measurements, but I gotta go grab the ark, stick it in a box, get it out of here. Can't enjoy the moment. Although speaking of enjoying the moment, I've watched this movie countless times, and I have never, and maybe it's because you're cutting between 2 different scenes this whole time, but I've never really noticed like Indy's reaction to coming up to this thing, and he just like kind of runs his hand over it. It's like this, he's got this moment with the ark, this kind
Yeah.
of, he's
completely in shadow when he does this too. It's interesting.
Yeah.
He's completely in shadow and Belloc is in the light.
it's like a very, I don't know what to even call it. I mean, obviously it's emotional, but it's like he's just having a moment where he's just like, oh, I found the Ark of the Covenant. Oh my God, here we go. Oh geez, okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of awesome.
So
Well,
this
and
is... Oh, go ahead, Jim.
he's backlit, by the raging sky storm, and it creates this great Indiana Jones hat shadow on the ark. And what was still, and we talked about this before, but I'm noticing no one is mentioning the Old Testament style storm overhead.
Yeah.
It's still cloudy with an 80% chance of smite. and no, that's just not occurring to anybody. Like if there's one thing maybe to take note of.
Yeah. Well, I think Sala totally is. I mean, he's not saying anything, but he must be thinking like, I was talking about death surrounding this, and it's not of this earth, and maybe we should, like, he's one of the few people who've been telling Indy, maybe we don't just go head first into this thing. But now he's there with Indy, about to like grab the ark, and he must be freaking out a little bit.
Well, what's great too is as they both approach, neither one of them says anything.
Yeah. 'Cause
And
what do
we
you
talk
say?
we talk about, how terrific this movie is, and even Tom, you said, or Pete, you said, it's like if this was done today, somebody would come in and be like, "Oh my God, that's the arc that we've been looking for." But they let the moment breathe, and
Yeah.
what's really crazy is, Tom, as you were saying, Indy puts his hand on top of it. Sala's attention in that scene goes from staring at the arc to completely studying Indy.
Yeah.
Like he's not even looking at the arc when Indy is having his moment. He's staring exactly at Indy, and he is a little fearful of the whole minute. And I was wondering if he's looking at him and he's like, I know Indy's greed, and this guy's gonna light up like a Christmas tree.
I don't know. I think can I take a break from this minute by minute dissection of a movie and be really nerdy for a second?
Go for it.
As I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking of the scene, you're all with me, in Star Trek 3, where Kirk's son dies, and he's got his "you Klingon bastard" moment, and it's just shots of like Scotty and McCoy and Chekhov watching Kirk have this moment, and that's what I'm thinking of with Sala right now. That he's like, not that it's the same thing at all, but it's like, oh, this is Indy's moment. This is, Indy's going through something right now. I'm his buddy. I'd like to get out of here, but I'm here for Indy. I'm just gonna see what he does.
He's being a real bro.
He is being a bro. God, I love Sala in this movie.
Well, for me, this moment kicks off 3 or 4 minutes of the greatest evidence in this movie that all these movies are the dreams that Han Solo is having while he's encased in carbonite.
Please continue, Pete.
Go on.
I got my chips. I got my drink. I got my feet up.
We were talking about a little bit last week how the blue lightning and the sound of the thunder is almost identical to the TIE bombers dropping the bombs on the asteroid and what Han is hearing when he's inside the asteroid. And so while that's going on and still in the background of this minute, when you think about the scene in Empire Strikes Back, when you see the blue lightning and you hear the distant kind of bombing sounds, this is when Han gets his first kiss with Leia. And this movie is when Han achieves his, what he's been yearning for this whole movie.
This is loving caress.
Yeah.
Oh my
and in
God.
Empire Strikes Back, Leia says her hands are dirty, and Han says his are dirty too. And in this scene, he rubs the dirt on top of the sarcophagus. And he's got this look like the camera just kind of lingers on him, and he has this long look like he's almost at the point where he realizes there's something I can't quite put my finger on. There's something.
Oh my God.
This seems really familiar. What's going on?
I feel
And then
terrible for Han
when
Solo.
he's about to realize it, he's like, gold, there's gold. And he snaps back to Indy.
But it's amazing you mentioned gold because C-3PO, who is golden, walks in on that scene.
Oh my God. He's interrupted from attaining true love with a woman by gold interfering. Oh my God. We're so good at this. We're really good at Raiders. Well, okay. As you're saying that, I have something that I was going to say it doesn't go along with that, but it might in a way. Seeing like Indy's, he's at this, large rectangular slab, and he's sort of studying it quietly, and it does remind me a lot of Lando. Right after Han is put into carbon freeze, checking out the thing, he's in perfect hibernation and stuff.
Yeah.
Which doesn't totally contradict that, because it's like, oh, my heart being interceded by love has gotten me into, or being interceded by gold has gotten me into this fix, which isn't totally true, is it, in Raiders or Empire? I don't know. I'm just saying. Something to think about.
The blue
Well, he
lightning.
wouldn't have met Leia if he didn't want money. Remember, Luke offers him a big
true.
reward.
Yeah.
Good point.
Han's
And in this
complicated.
scene, Leia is using that welding torch, and it's also emitting blue lightning.
That's true.
We've totally lost Pete.
And if you look really close in Empire, Sal is standing there behind that thing. And he
His
asked
big
3PO to
fairy
go in.
friend is standing there beside him while he's thinking about the power coupling.
The power coupling between him and God.
By the way,
Princess
I wanna
Leia has little snake earrings.
and she hated this.
Well, and
Oh my God.
you know, after Indy has his minute, and he kind of snaps out of it and is like, "Boba Fett, where?" No, he snaps out of it. He's like, "Nazis, we got to get this thing. We got to get this thing out of here." I love that he kind of goes looking around like for the padlock.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Just kind
now
of
let
jimmy
me.
it.
Now where's the? Like it's right at the end of the minute, but you know
Yeah.
he has his minute. He's like, all right, now where's the? It's 31 to the left.
Or you just take a hammer to it. It's a little weird that they cut between this and Marion and Belloc so much. It's a little bit, I don't know. Because, I do think that cutting back and forth made me lose this sort of indie moment here all these years. The whole arc sequence does get a little bit lost. Just a little. I mean, it doesn't have quite the kick it could, maybe, because you're kind of distracted. I don't know. Am I alone?
You know what? That's an excellent point, and I never thought about it until you said that. But
Okay.
but it's true. It does. It's a little disjointed.
A little bit, yeah.
I thought it was trying to draw suspense, though.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what the Nazis are doing. I don't know.
I mean, it works in some ways, but you probably sacrifice some continuity with regards to those 5 or 6 minutes where they actually procure the arc.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
because
weird.
what's happening with Marion is obviously taking a longer time than what they're doing.
Yeah. It does seem like a weird moment to start cutting in and out of. Like, this is what they've been working towards the entire movie. But okay, listen. I don't want to change anything. They knew what they were doing. They were young and in love, and it was wrong, and they knew it. Well, does anyone have anything else for this minute?
Nope.
Because Sal and Indy have a lot of work to do, and we should get to it. Well, Pete, could you please tell these people how to get in touch with us and where they can find us and interact with us?
Yeah, if you'd like to run your dirty hands over our podcast, you can find us at Facebook. Check out our Facebook page or the Listener Crusade, also on Facebook, or join us at IndianaJonesMinute.com.
Thanks. And Jamie, do you want to come back tomorrow and talk more about this movie?
Sure, yeah, that sounds great. I want to see some more archaeology.
You came to the wrong place. We'll
And
see
more
what happens.
drinking games.
Okay, there.
Well, I want to know, and maybe somebody can write in. We have the Listeners Crusade. Did Shishak know that there are going to be snakes there? I just want to know. I know maybe I'm belaboring the point, but I want to, was that part of his interior design plan for the Well of the Souls?
I smell a Facebook poll. Those are surprisingly easy to do. Okay. Well, yeah. Listen, everybody, fill out the poll that we probably put up in the future, and then come back tomorrow for minute. What is it? 67. 67 of Raiders of the Lost Ark here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Jones!
Jones.
Jones!
I'm probably not going to say that.